Um, Thank you so much for doing this. I'm a huge fan of you and the show.
Thank you.
What I really wanted to know is I love this version of Ahura, but as an actress, I wanted to know how does it feel? We all know where Ahura ends up, but
Hmm.
as an actress, can you talk about navigating the newness and the uncertainty of the character where she is now?
Yeah, of course. We all know Uhura. We all know her. She was popularized as a lieutenant, as an officer with a role of command, and to have an opportunity to play her as a cadet, as someone who was still figuring out if Starfleet is the path for them. It means so much to me. It really, I feel like we're finally having an opportunity to humanize this character in a way that we didn't have in a way that she didn't have an opportunity to be humanized in the 60s at the time, because of the socio-political climate of the 60s for Black women in entertainment. I am incredibly honored to really show a side of Uhura that hasn't really been showcased before, to show her being a little insecure and a little wary of her place in Starfleet, and also her worth to Starfleet. I think it's an incredible opportunity to, as an actor, know her future, but to play a character who is just taking it day by day and really absorbing the world around her. And so to play a character who is beloved and iconic, but to show her at her beginning stages, it's an incredible opportunity.
Now, what I loved about episode 2 is that it showed Ahura is very intelligent, but
Hmm.
she's also uncertain. I love these layers of the character. Um,
Yeah.
she's very uncertain, but very intelligent. Is it the speech that inspires her to continue on, or is it the strength within herself or her parents? What is it that makes her say, you know what, I belong here no matter what, I will learn?
I think it's the support of her crew. I think as someone myself, Celia is someone who really appreciates verbalized support and words of affirmation, and so I think Uhura has some similarities there with myself, having a crew of people who are really esteemed in their positions, to have commanding officers and to have people who have roles of incredible importance, supporting her and cheering her on and really verbalizing to her, hey, we'd be incredibly lucky to have you as a part of our crew. I think that is something that sparks within her, and it gives that sort of permission to keep going. And it really is a testament to Nichelle's path as Uhura. She was someone who was not super sure about the role of Uhura in the original series. And Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was someone who reached out to her and was like, hey, I need you to keep going for the representation for my daughters and for my children. And that conversation, I think, was something that inspired Nichelle to keep going and to have a sort of ode to that in the second episode. I think it is an incredible testament to Nichelle's history, but also Uhura's history as a character.
Now, I know you lightly touched upon this about the limitation that was placed on Black actresses in the 60s, especially with the original
Mm-hmm.
Aurora. My question is, things have changed a lot since then. What other dynamics or layers or aspects will we see of Aurora that we haven't seen before?
Yeah, I mean, we will see her. Star Trek is a franchise of very high stakes and a lot of life or death situations, and we got to see a touch of it in the second episode of her saving the lives of the people of this planet. But we will also see her in. I love the first season of the show because we touch on a lot of different genres, and
Mhm.
so we get to see her really up in the forefront. We also get to see her taking roles of ensemble work, and seeing her really work together with her team instead of really making sense of the mission around her by herself. We see her working with Spock and working with Una and working with La'an and Ortegas and Benga and Chapel. We see her really collaborating with the entire cast in the future. And I'm really excited for fans to get to see how she collaborates and how her specific role on as a part of the bridge crew. I'm excited for fans to see sort of where she fits within this Trek family.
Well, one of the themes of the show, it certainly seems to tackle the free will versus destiny, especially in the first episode. With
Mm-hmm.
Ahura, which one do you think that she believes in or leans more towards?
I think she right now is leaning towards free will, and leaning towards the idea that every day is something that you take control of on your own. You're not a fish in the pond swimming upstream. You are someone who is really taking control of your life day by day, and there's every day is a challenge, and every day is something that you have to make conscious decision to keep going. And I think that will change as people who know her future in the franchise and as a character. But right now we see her as someone who's like, every day is something within my control. I can step away from this if this isn't for me. But I don't know if she's someone who believes in the destiny that is laid out for her in the future. She's definitely making sense of it day by day.
Now, I loved you in Jagged Little Pill. I was
Thank
wondering,
you.
can you talk? I so much love that. Can you talk about? Can you talk about the transition from stage actress to now you're on TV actress, especially when it comes to what have you learned from the stage that you apply to a horror or even just any other film set?
Yeah, I think to speak specifically about Uhura, I think having a theater background for many reasons is incredibly integral to this character. Seeing as Nichelle was a stage and screen performer, she has a dance background, she has a singing background, she has albums out. And so to have to be someone who has a similar background to Nichelle Nichols, I think it was incredibly important for this character. I think it may seem very minor, but it's incredibly important to me. Nichelle's Uhura had such incredible posture. She just carried herself so well, and that is definitely a nod to her dance training. And so to have that sort of muscle memory of how to carry oneself as a dancer, I think that is incredibly important. And just making sure that my Uhura and Nichelle's Uhura have those similarities, and you see the flickers of Nichelle's Uhura in mine. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping for. And so I want the body language of Uhura to constantly be the same, while her mentality and her outlook on Starfleet may be very, very new. I want who she is as a person, and those little things that personify who you are. I wanted those to be really, really specific. And so to have that dance background, I think it was an incredible advantage.
Wonderful. And lastly, I was wondering, was there a moment either through the look of the character during the development or how you was going about with the script that you was extremely proud of how it came out in the final viewing that we get to see?
Yeah, I think in episode 2, we get to see her singing. Singing is something that I've always loved, and I've always loved doing, and it's something that I hope I get to do for the rest of my career. And we got to see Nichelle's Uhura singing in bits and moments in the original series. We see her with her song to Spock while he was playing the Vulcan lyre. Just to have those moments, I think it's incredibly important. We get to really flesh out the small things that we saw in the original series, and we get to sort of expand those and really, really flesh those moments out, and to have an opportunity to do something that I, as an actor and as a person, really love to do, and to really bring that to the forefront and have it be a really life-saving part of this of episode 102 and of Uhura's history. It meant a lot to me, and I was so nervous doing it because I didn't know how it was going to come out. And so to sit and watch it and to see how that moment really turned into something beautiful, I really, really, really enjoyed that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for speaking with me. I love the series so much.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yes.